right. Good day, everyone. Uh, this is the second nickel Toonkind at 12 frames per second. Out the gate for everything else. Hi, angst warning. Hi, angst warning.
Yeah, yeah.
Carry yourselves, please. But I'm Kraken, and today, well, I'll be playing Henrick Danthew just to start out. And with me today,
Hi, I'm Hexabeast. Hex is fine. And pretty sure at this point y'all know who I'm gonna be playing when it comes to Nichols, but in case you don't, I'm playing the Thrall. And oh boy.
times for everyone.
Yep. Oh boy.
Oh boy. But we begin this with picture this as a cinematic camera zoom down over the woods, through the trees, and down towards the ground where there is a lone caravan making its way through. Well, there is a path. There is a path. It's a little overgrown. It's not the most well maintained. Movement's a bit slow at the moment, but moving it is. And seated in the front, there is a pretty familiar looking face
Mm-hmm.
for the viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this guy. Henrik Danthew sits at the front of his caravan, reins in hand, and is just determinedly making way through here. And we conveniently tune in right as they crest a hill, and well, that's certainly it certainly looks like the remains of a house.
Yeah.
The vegetation here is funky because it's all old, deep woods, huge towering trees behind them, and then directly in front, it's all baby new growth.
Can't imagine why that would be.
Can't imagine why, but there is a distinct trail. New baby green growth.
Following this specific trail. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going in a direction. It's fine.
It's fine. Hey, Henrik, real quick, roll me a perception.
Absolutely. Ba, 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 ba. Henrik sheet. I'm pretty sure that's probably still just a zero. Yeah, it is.
Henrik. Man. You know what? Doesn't
19
matter.
though.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's a 19. So, amidst all of that, um, sitting on one of the fallen logs, Henrik immediately spies a familiar figure just kind of perched, clearly waiting. Uh, they have a little pocket watch in one hand, and as the caravan crests the hill, it snaps the pocket watch closed and just kind of tucks it back into a pocket, like on their vest. But yeah, there's somebody waiting there for you, Henrik.
Sure is. Well, uh, no use delaying. Snap of the reins, and caravan
Uh oh, Kraken?
is. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You cut out. Sorry.
Oh no.
I
Uh,
I heard snap of
snap
the
of the
reins.
reins.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just finishing up the last bit of distance.
Yep. As the caravan kind of pulls to a full stop, the figure, who very obviously is the thrall, stands and turns to face Henrik. And they look exactly the same as Henrik would recall them from 10 years ago. Nothing has
Yeah.
changed.
If it weren't for the fact that the area was the area itself was different, aka destroyed
Yeah.
by something very big and essentially acidic, and it was newly growing, it would be like nothing had changed. I mean, except for what they're wearing. Hell, even they look the same as
Yeah.
they did.
Thrall
Same
kind of.
age.
I was gonna say, Thrall kind of gives a look to the hand and the attire, and takes a very like noted like has not aged kind of thing, and is but gives a nod, and very calmly as they approach, just, and here I was beginning to wonder if you would try to weasel out of our agreement.
Let it not be said I'm no fool.
I'm pleased
That
to
would not go well.
I'm pleased to hear that you're still, well, I'm pleased to hear that you are not a fool, Henrick Danthew. Well then. Well then, shall we get right to it? Have you brought your payment?
I have.
Let me
And yes, of course. And gonna turn around to the back of the caravan and unlock
Mm-hmm.
and open the doors. And I guess Thrall, you want to do a perception on what you see first off?
Yeah, we can roll some perceptions. Let's see what we get.
Let's do some rolls.
Let's see what we get. That's a 25.
Sure is. Huh. So, it's not an especially fancy caravan. Not the biggest. It is also, immediately, first off, it is stuffed full.
Mm-hmm.
This thing is crowded. There's boxes everywhere. It looks like Henrick's whole life, such as it is packed up in here.
Okay.
For one thing. Second, there's just... Well, Thrall would know they're clones. There's just people everywhere.
Yeah.
Just sitting where higgledy-piggledy wherever there's room. Like, squashed into places, sitting high up, they just, folded over. So wherever they'll fit. They're like discarded dolls.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And there's all of those. Specifically, I say all of those, there's 3. It might feel like a bit more just because of the way they're all packed in there. There's kind of limbs akimbo. It's frankly a little weird looking. But there's 2 exceptions. There is exactly 1 bit of clear space, and that's where someone is just lying out. Head tucked, head has a pillow underneath it, just, hands folded over in the you gotta do it to him pose. Just looks very peacefully asleep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And also notably older than everyone here.
Okay. Yeah.
All of this is not the most obvious thing, nor the thing Thrall is actually interested in. Because the thing Thrall is actually interested in is the final person in here.
Yep.
Who is kind of crowded up on the last spare bit of floor possible in here. And, yeah, arms tied behind the back and also ankles together because, just avoiding the least amount of trouble possible.
Understandable.
And that person has a sort of flinched away as the door opens and light floods the place. And
you have to say Thrall is just looking at them. That same unimpressed look, but they have hopped up onto the step to actually get a better look because sure.
That's such a good visual. Hop.
You lean into it when you're in Inkwell. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that person is trying to scoot backwards as much as possible because, hello? What the hell? Looking between the both of them, and that's when Henrick just makes a silent gesture, and all 3 of those clones come to life.
God, that's still such a terrifying visual. Ugh.
Isn't it just?
Yep.
Listen, the one that's like basically folded over in on itself in a way that probably shouldn't work for something that has like solid bones. Just what's the word? Unfurls, and all 3 of them are yep. Take a hold of the final person and are pulling him out.
Cool. Thrall moves to the one side so that they can pull him out, and they are giving Craigory some scrutiny as like he's pulled into the sun fully, and with their crazy high perception, they tweaked the other older body on the floor, and looking between Craigory and all of the clones, they're starting to put some pieces together here.
It should also be noted that everyone here except Henrick with the cape in hand, everyone looks the same, like the same dress and attire.
Yep.
AKA the Craigory usual.
Yeah, you know.
The only person wearing anything different is
Henrick.
The youthful and sprightly Henrick Danthew in a very fancy getup.
Yes. And Thrall just dirty 21'd an Arcana to kind of they kind of have an idea of what's going on here. And what happened here. So they're putting some context clues together here, and they move closer to Craigory, grab his face and kind of like by the chin, and basically maneuver his face around to look at him, in an appraising sort of way. And
boy.
Then, yeah. What's he do with that? He's still in shock.
Well, it's at this point being dragged out. Arms stay tied behind the back, and you know that's funny for anyone who knows Craigory because he has both arms. 2 full arms.
Yeah, he's got 2 full arms right now. How about
but
that?
Yeah, the 3 clones and the one that was with Henrick in the front have. Wait, no. Sorry, just 3 clones. I need to keep my numbers straight. Just for sheer no confusion. There are 3 clones. And they are just at silent command working to basically take off the ankle ties because, you know, places to be and whatnot, but also take away the gag that had been stopping him from making any noise. So I think it's right when that happens. Yeah, Thrall grabs the face.
Yep. Gag comes off and he immediately has his face grabbed.
Yeah.
And they are scrutinizing him. They are appraising him. All Craigory can see is the blackness of their cloak and their green eyes, and it is unsettling. And after a moment,
well, that was a strength overall, so I don't even know if he yanks his head out of Thrall's grip with an 11.
I mean, I can roll a contesting. He might. He actually might. Thrall is not very physically strong. Yeah, no, he does.
Yeah, so just yanks his head to the side, and oh shit, and the clones don't do well with a 7 either.
Oh my god. What's Craigory doing?
Fucking fools. He's running.
Well, okay. Make a wisdom save.
Yep. It's just like, nope. Just get out of here. Fuck, I used the wrong strength stat for Craigory. Just realized.
You know what? It wouldn't have changed anything, I don't think. Oh
Not
no, it
really,
would have tied with the clones.
He would have tied with the clones. So, you know what? 7 and 7 meets it, just beats it.
Yeah.
Same result. And now for that wisdom save, which I am on the right page for.
Yeah. No.
6. No.
6. No. Yeah, Craigory, you've been held personed.
Makes it like 3 steps.
Mm-hmm. Thrall's reaction was immediate, and they kind of make a motion to the clones. Whether Henrick has them follow what Thrall commands or they do what Thrall does, it doesn't matter. But they make a motion for the clones to re-secure Craigory back to, like, get him on his knees, basically, so it's harder to run away.
Well, they are not programmed to Thrall.
Yeah, I know.
Follow Thrall at all.
But Thrall makes gives a look to Henrick and is just, obstinate little thing, isn't it?
You have no idea how much trouble getting him was. But, yeah, clones will move over and do that. They're going to do another strength.
Mm-hmm.
Just a collective for all 3.
That's with advantage, please, because there's 3 of them.
Listen, I figure just in the background, there's this whole slightly comedic scuffle going on while these two have a civilized chat.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh my god!
Listen. Here's the first one is the clones, the second one is Craigory.
Oh my god.
There is absolutely that comedic shuffle going on in the background.
Of these clones just trying to deal with one wizard.
Because the hold person will go for a minute, but once the minute's up, Craigory's gonna be trying to do stuff.
Yep.
Also can't quite talk during that minute, so there's just all that going on. Meanwhile, the adults are having a discussion.
The adults are having a discussion, and Thrall, once again, gives a look at Craigory, and then looks back to Henrick. And it's the same kind of appraising look that they had given Craigory, that same kind of scrutiny. And they, after a moment, and they seem to be very carefully choosing their words here, say, "Now, forgive me, Mix Danthew. I understand that it has been a decade. But I do believe that our agreement was for the first clone."
Henry also appears to be choosing their words very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a blink, and considering I know what Thrall's insight is, but it seems like this is a rehearsed answer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, I remember. That is the first clone.
Are you quite certain? Because it seems you currently inhabit that body. I am not a fool. I saw yours in the caravan. I can piece together what you've done. How do I know you are not trying to swindle me with one of your other clones?
Swindle you. And just, where's performance stat? Because it's very much performance.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Wow, that's a 6.
Wow. Eyes go almost comically wide enough. Swindle you.
Uh-huh.
But just Thrall would. This rings very insincere to Thrall.
Yeah.
I would... No. I would never try to swindle you. But our agreement was the first clone. Gestures at Craigory.
Mm-hmm.
That is the first clone. The mind of the first clone inside the body of one of the creations that your information allowed me to make. I assumed the mind and development was the more fascinating aspect anyway.
That had been part, yes. I still cannot help but feel that you might be taking a bit of advantage of my generosity.
Well, it appears there's been a bit of a miscommunication then. My apologies, but this is the arrangement that has been made, so perhaps the term should have been better phrased.
I am quite sure that they were extremely clear. Transparently clear, even. But if this is the path you are choosing to take, then I guess I cannot stop you. They
sort of
they
mini
are
bow, just like
yeah. They are eyeing Henrick and
Henrick do an insight.
Yep, you can do an insight. Please do an insight. 18.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Henrick, that was a very not thinly veiled threat. I say not thinly veiled, but you rolled an 18 and this is the Thrall. So reading that, yeah, that was a... Oh god, sorry. That was a threat.
And with a 6 performance, Henrick can't hide the sort of like, you know, they've prepared for this, they've rehearsed, they've got their answers, they've got their, you know, argument.
Yep.
That they're pretty sure they can walk away with. Pretty sure.
Thrall has given them the out to walk away. It's just there was a threat there in that out.
And Henrick will bow basically in, you know, deference and acknowledgement, and is going to take that out. Because, you know what? Threat, Schmet, they plan to leave Ankwell really lickety-split.
Yeah.
In the exact other fucking direction that Thrall is said to haunt.
Yep. And to be fair, they did ask for the first clone, and they did. And they had no way of knowing that Henrick would pull this shit. So, you know,
it technically flies.
It technically flies. But we'll get into the nitty-gritty of that later. Just 10 years ago, Thrall had no idea Henrick would pull this shit, so technically, yeah, this...
Are we... Henrick didn't have the knowledge to pull this shit at the time. It's been 10 years. Henrick's had time to think about this.
Exactly.
Speaking of 10 years.
Yeah. Speaking
Is our business concluded?
Thrall turns back to Craigory to observe what the clones have managed to do in this time that they have been talking.
Well, somewhere in that talking, the minute gave up and they started having their scuffle.
Well, yes. Their Benny Hill chase scene.
What has ended up happening is they're all sitting on him. Things got a bit more noisy towards the end of it as the whole person wore off. The scuffle started. All 3 clones are now sitting on his back and legs.
Yep.
And Craigory's just wiggling.
Yep. Well, Thrall just
and
kind
not saying anything because he's been trying not to draw attention to himself.
Yep, that's too late. Thrall's attention is back on him. But they look at Craigory and then glance at Henrick, and if this is truly how you wish to leave our encounter, then we have nothing more to discuss at this time.
I'll take my leave then. And Henrick kind of gives a look at the situation, as we'll call it, and decides, yeah, you know what? They're just gonna call over the clones. You know, Thrall's problem now. What Craigory does next.
Incredible. Offer
they
no
had enough
help,
trouble
huh?
just getting him.
Offer no help, huh?
No help. Listen, Thrall just said their business is concluded. It's concluded.
Thrall did not specifically say business was concluded, but that's okay. It's fine. Henrick can interpret this as much as they want.
As far as Henrick's concerned, it's concluded.
It's concluded. It's done. They're done. They
Henrick
got away
never
with
wants
it.
to see this person again.
They did it. They bamboozled the Thrall. Congrats.
They've done it. Congration.
Congration. But oh, go ahead.
Another silent gesture, and all the clones as one, in sync, stand up.
Yep.
And start walking away to the caravan.
Yep. Thrall is walking towards Craigory. If he wants to try and run again, he is more than welcome to. He's not going to get far.
Well, yeah, he's going to try. He's a moment of like, oh, wait, I'm not being sat on anymore. But now, scrambling to the feet and just... He hasn't really said anything so far.
Yep.
But he's just going to try and run for it. Priorities.
Yep. Well, yeah, he doesn't get far.
Yeah.
Bars kind of spring up around him.
Bars, huh?
Thrall just casts Force Cage.
I'm gonna roll a dex, see if he runs into them. He does not.
Oh, good. Yeah, they,
It changes direction on a dime, but then, oh shit, they're over here as well. And over there, and oh god.
Oh god, you're trapped, Craigory. Yeah, Thrall had produced a rather expensive-looking gem from the little bag of holding on their hip, and yeah, now you're trapped. Just
good old Force Cage, eh?
Good old Force Cage. Casually blow 1,500 gold to trap somebody. It's fine.
Yeah, Craigory's clocking that. And there's a clatter of wheels and hooves, and the caravan is just leading the way it came. And
what you think about that, Craigory?
Well, first, yeah, God, Craigory just yells after Henrick. Just, the caravan isn't quite turned all the way around, so you can still see the damn family that's hijacked his body and shoved him in something else.
Yep.
Just yelling after them. No goodbye again? Really? Again? Really?
Thrall waits for the caravan, because he's in there for an hour. Yeah, Force Cage lasts an hour, so... yeah.
There is distinctly no response from Henrick. They, like, visibly turn their head away, so they're not looking at Craigory. Followed just... Yell is trying to be frustrated, but mostly sounds really scared, because, hello? Just...
Yeah.
But you coward!
Thrall actually kind of gives a nod at that one. Seems they are in agreement there. Henrick Danthew is in fact a coward.
Oh, the biggest one.
Mm-hmm. And, after a moment, they finally address Craigory and just, "Are you quite done?"
Doesn't answer right away, is looking all around at the force cage as if trying to find any weak points.
Mm-hmm.
By
Craigory,
nature of spell.
your hands are still tied.
Oh, they absolutely are. It's a weird sensation. Listen, he'd been out most of the trip over here. He'd only just recently come to, and
Mm-hmm.
his own body that he realized one of the things that felt so off is that he had both arms. He shouldn't
Yeah.
have had as much trouble uh trying to get out of the restraints otherwise.
Yeah.
Because usually a whole half of the arm isn't there.
Yeah.
So he's just backing up as close to the far edge away from Thrall as he can.
That's understandable. Understandable.
And he's now going to, I think, have to roll a history.
Yep.
For whomst the hell.
Whomst the fuck is this? An 8.
You know what? There's something. It's deja vu like.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on pure visuals alone. Deja vu. It feels like he should have an idea of who this is, but he doesn't. He has no idea what the fuck is going on.
He has absolutely no clue.
First question, reasonably, just who are you? What am I doing here? What do you want?
Well, it seems the latter question is quite clear. We did spend quite a bit of time discussing it, but I am known as the Thrall, and you will refer to me as such. I am here because your parent and I made an agreement. And the payment was the first clone. Which, at the time of agreement, was you.
Craigory doesn't have a ton of color, being grayscale, but just, he was already pale.
Mm-hmm.
What? Should he do another history with having gotten the name?
Yep. Go right ahead. Hey!
There we go.
There we go.
Now that he has the name,
17.
things click. Yeah, he's heard of the Thrall.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever color he had left in the face, just completely gone.
Yeah. He didn't put the name to the face because, you don't expect the Thrall to look like that. But
he would have thought the Thrall would be taller.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption. Not
so-called all blood drains away from the face. I've never heard of you trading in people.
It's a rare occurrence, but it does occasionally happen. Though I admit in this case, and they kind of pause, seem to tilt their head as if listening to something, and then just state, "This one was a bit of a special case, though. I do not usually keep people."
Internal panic just kicked up several notches.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean keep? What use would you, a whole person? What do you do with a whole person?
Oh, there are many uses that one can have with a person. especially one in such a unique situation as you, Mr. Danthew. And they kind of gesture to, well, all of him, and your current makeup is unique. And if I so chose, I could take you apart, piece by piece. But I'm sure I can find some other uses that aren't so permanently deadly.
God, I think it's gonna have to be like a performance of some kind to just, try and hide how Thrall isn't even rolling intimidation.
They are not rolling. They are just calmly talking. That's a 14.
Decent.
It's decent. He's doing pretty good.
Yeah, most of the panic is staying on the inside, which partially that's not even Craigory being necessarily good at hiding his feelings. It's just the sheer what the hell.
Yeah.
Because as far as he knows, he was walking home, he got ambushed, he never saw what happened there. He was blind for pretty much all of it, woke up, and then this is happening.
Mm-hmm. And now this person is talking about taking him apart, and that's terrifying.
Everything happens so much all the time.
All of the time. All the time. All the time.
A little bit of everything all of the time.
Oh, God. But I do believe at this point, Thrall is going to begin casting a spell, and it does take a considerable bit of time to cast, which is why they have Force Cage up and around him. Craigory can roll Arcana to see what they're doing.
Oh, he's absolutely rolling Arcana.
Uh-huh. 14. You can get that they are casting some kind of enchantment magic, Craigory.
Oh. No. He doesn't like that, because he thinks enchantment, and he thinks immediately all sorts of... Not charm person, because that would take far less time than this, but along that vein.
Mm-hmm. Is he gonna even try to do anything for the minute this takes to cast?
Well, he doesn't have counterspell for one thing. For another, a reason that Craigory hasn't tried to cast anything so far, forgot to mention somewhere, there is, Henrick did, amongst everything else, just do like a, no more magic for you, splat, a, Deus Ex Machina band of some sort on Craigory.
Yeah, just kind of...
don't worry about it. Ankwell has these things in prisons. Don't ask why Henrick has one. It's just useful.
It's useful to have one of a magic limiting kind of band, cuff, whatever you need. Don't think
so he doesn't have counterspell. He's in a force cage. His arms are still tied behind his back.
Yeah. He's pretty much just like, he can only wait and just kind of be like, oh dear, oh no.
Oh god.
Oh god. So...
This isn't going, to work. All of this. He can't gesture, but just sort of motion around with his shoulders. People are gonna know I'm gone.
Thrall does not respond at first. And Craigory, would you like to make me a wisdom save?
Boy, howdy.
That is not enough.
Nope.
Nope. That is not enough. So, Craigory, for a bit of flavor, you feel something kind of settle over your mind. And it feels like there's just this force pushing on your brain and on your limbs and just kind of all around. It's like puppet strings almost. Not pulled taut, but just there. Heavy, waiting. And then Thrall very calmly just states, You will follow my orders until such a time as I release you from this geas. And
feels that sink in.
Yep, I say, and like that, he feels everything just kind of snap, and now you've got that. And after a moment, they say, "Walk to this edge of the force cage, Mr. Danthew."
Well, he gives a try at not doing that, but the way the spell works is you have to follow the order given or else take a whole bunch of psychic damage.
A lot of psychic damage.
A lot of psychic damage. And another bad wrong feel Craigory's having was trying to figure out that he had both arms again, but also just the whole body, this clone body just feels straight up weaker. He doesn't think he has the same pool of hit points he's used to.
Yeah.
So he gives a try at hesitating, but just, again, that pressure builds, so no, not doing that. Oh, God. So, yeah, he walks up to the edge of the force cage and is basically just standing in front of Thrall.
Thrall gives a nod and then just kneel down.
Oh. Another moment of hesitation. But kneels.
They, the first thing that they do is they grab his chin and they just they lean into the bars. "Continue to hesitate as you are, Mr. Danthew, and you will find that I will be a lot less lenient with my orders."
And hearing that, and as such, doesn't yank his head out of grip this time.
There's a kind of nod. And then they release his chin and do not move. His head is kind of angled up right now because they had to angle his head up to look at them. And he feels something tight fit around his neck.
Hey, well, he's not forbidden from speaking, so it's just, what's that? What did you just...
Something to help keep you in control should you try to be a little more careless.
I'm already under Geas. Like, you've already got me.
Yes, and if that little display when we first arrived was anything to go by, and the actions of your parent, you two think alike. You will likely be finding ways to still continue to be defiant. And rather than potentially risk losing a very valuable asset that I have gained, sometimes just a quick reminder is all that is needed. And they snap their fingers, and he feels a little just kind of jolt go through him. It's
any damage taken, or is it just a warning?
It's one damage.
Make you jump a little.
Yeah, just a little jump, like to let you know that it can hurt.
Oh boy, he very much wants to be just trying to move his neck around because this, yeah, it's, you can tell it's a collar basically. It feels tight. It feels like it should be too tight, isn't it? But can't move anything.
Can't move anything. He's still been ordered to stay still. And Thrall gives a nod, steps back, just, "You may move now. You may stand."
Well, does that.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a little clumsy.
I mean, his arms are still tied.
Exactly. A little stumbling, and yeah, he can't get his hands up to it, but he is just trying to move his head around because, he doesn't like this.
No, you are not to remove that collar. Are we clear?
Yeah, we're clear.
Good. And, at that point, they will dispel the force cage. And will they? And they produce a knife from the belt on their thigh.
Oh boy, he's looking at that.
They're walking up to him.
Well, Thrall said he could move. They didn't say he shouldn't run. It's like, fuck it, third time's the charm for it not working. He's stumbling backward and...
Mr. Danthew, be still. Do you want to be released from these ropes or not?
Well, he's still.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of frozen in mid-step back. He's not going to risk completing it.
Yep. Thrall also asked him a question.
Yes.
All right, then. Do not run away. And they not that he can do anything with the other beast with Be Still, but they walk up and start cutting the ropes from his hand. So
well, minor relief.
Minor relief. You're still not in a great position, Craigory, but it's, And once they let the ropes drop to the ground, the knife goes back on their thigh, and they very calmly just follow beside me, Mr. Danthew. Do not try to run again. Do not stray more than 5 feet from me.
Well, if Thrall starts walking then Craigory's stuck doing exactly that.
They start walking.
Yeah. Luckily it's not hard at all to keep up because if anything he has to walk slow.
Yeah, he does, because Thrall is short. 4'8", baby.
Little piddly steps.
I mean, they have a surprisingly quick stride for how tall they are. Well, short, for how short they are. But, Craigory has very long legs, comparatively, so, But they start walking, and after a moment, because I assume, how's Craigory feeling?
Well, I was just about to say, considering everything, terrified, scared, bad, I was like, whiz save just for his own emotions, probably.
Yeah. How you do? Oh,
8.
An 8. Wizard's not doing so great.
No. Just, it's, it's beginning to all sink in. Just like, it's all very abrupt from his point of view. The everything about it is sinking in. How we ended up here, just like so this is why Henrick ever came back. And oh God, how long has it been? How long will it be? Does anyone even know yet? Will they ever know?
That's a very good question, huh, Craigory?
Yeah. So, just And with that 8 especially, he's not saying all this out loud, but Thrall, if they're looking, could basically read this like a book on his face. Craigory is a loud thinker.
That I was literally just about to say. Thrall...
There's a face journey going on here, and Thrall can read every bit of it.
And Thrall sees all of this, lets him have this little face journey for a moment, and when things seem to settle into one expression for more than like a couple of like for about a minute, they finally just state, "If you have questions, you may ask them. You are thinking far too loud."
Gives them a bit of a weird look for that, because it's a weird way to phrase it. Thinking by definition is silent. But, you know, the most relevant question right now, where are we going?
"We are going back to my manor, Mr. Danthew."
And where's that?
"Well, we are currently in Gisnep, near the... I don't know how far inland the wizard hut is.
I'm... With my mental map of Anquil, it's pretty right in the sort of heart of the general wilderness forested area.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much smack dab middle inland.
Middle inland, yeah. So we are currently in the Gisnep Kingdom, Mr. Danthew. We will be taking a route I have secured through the Uncanny Valley to the Independence. Which, Craigory might know where that is. I would hope he knows his geography.
I was about to say, I hope he does. You know what? It's time to do another survival. Would you say it's survival or history?
It depends. I think for Craigory's like case, it might be a survival just because it's reliant on like his world map or his
mental map.
His mental map for as well as he can read it.
Listen, his spatial awareness abilities. 6. Yeah, yep. That tracks. In his mind, he's just going north. Really, really, really far away. That's what's relevant here. It's far.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like at the edge of the continent.
Mm-hmm. It's at the complete other fucking end of the continent. That's... Mm-hmm. It's about as...
The relevant information here is really fucking far away.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And also Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, that's also a concern. He was at first concerned with the destination, but now he's just like, oh god, Craigory's never tangled with the Uncanny Valley. He just knows.
He just knows
the tales, the stories, the rumors.
Well, now he's about to get a very...
The campfire stories to scare you at night.
And now he's about to get a very casual stroll through the valley with,
And he's got no magic.
He's got no magic, because they have not taken that cuff off. I assume it's a cuff.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Yeah, I was like, I'm going under the assumption it's a cuff, so... Yeah, they haven't taken that off. That's gonna stay on ya.
There's no magic. He can't go any further than 5 feet from Thrall if things go south. He doesn't like this.
Yep.
And Thrall can also read that face journey.
Thrall does not see fit to assuage his fears at all. They are content to let him just be nervous about that. Let's be honest. But they are guiding him. Like they're still on a path, I guess, question mark. There apparently is a path that Thrall is following through kind of the new green growth. Craigory has no idea what path this is that they are taking. It seems they're just kind of wandering in a random direction, but clearly they know where they're going.
Not like he could try to do anything different.
Yep. But they give it another moment and then, have you any more questions, Mr. Danthew?
Did There's a sort of pained, conflicted look on his face with this question as he tries to find the words for it. Did they just offer me straight up, or did you ask? And they agreed. Whose idea was this?
Your parent asked very specifically for knowledge, and based on what they had asked and the importance of this knowledge, my payment was something of equal importance, and it was you, of a sort.
They even try to haggle?
There's a moment of pause where Thrall seems to be recalling, and after a moment they say, no, they did not.
And yeah, Craigory just sharply looks away. Trying to hide the face.
Yep. Thrall does not try to offer any comfort. They just keep walking. And they kind of shift a bit, adjust course a bit, and now they're heading kind of deeper into some of the older growth of the forest, and there is a low kind of little, what the hell is it called? It's not a mound. It's a,
sort of cave entrance?
Kind of, yeah. I would call it a knoll, probably. Just kind of rising up, and, they seem to be heading for that, so it's probably safe to assume there's an entrance into the valley from there.
Yeah, after that last question, Craigory just seems to be trying to collect himself, be, as cool a cucumber as he can be about this, because, hey, he'd like to not be a complete, scared, terrified mess.
Along with completely emotionally compromised in the Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, oh god.
Yeah.
And god, yeah, he had been trying to put out, cast sending since he first woke up, which hadn't worked. And he knows it won't, but he tries one more time.
So here's a question. Does anything kind of visual or that can be sensed, I guess, in any kind of way, even if it's just wizard or sorcerer sensing magic trying to get used kind of way, when he tries to do this and the cup stops it?
We'll say that visually the cup sort of flares with, there are some sparks of red pixelated magic around the cuff, sort of like a short. Okay. Something shorting out.
Yeah.
The magic doesn't make it past the cuff, and it just goes bzz.
Yeah. Along with, the usual motions he would have to make to actually cast it, so.
Yeah. He had already been turned away, not looking, and just tried to discreetly do that. And
yep. All right.
You want him to try and do a sleight of hand or a still?
You know what? Sure.
What is? Oh, it's actually better in this body.
Fucking incredible. No. Thrall sees that. I'm sorry.
There's hand motions. He has to whisper something. Yeah, no.
And when he tries to do that, Thrall just... Not that you would be even able to in this current state. But I guess I need to set that one in place already. You are not to cast any magic without my explicit verbal permission, Mr. Danthew. Are we clear?
And, he stiffens and then he just mutely nods.
And they give another nod, which he couldn't cast anyway, but, like, presumably with that kind of wording, they might take the cuff off at some point, but now he's been forbidden from casting unless they tell him to do so.
Great. Well, at least, yeah, as said, at least he can assume it comes off at some point.
Because I can't imagine it must feel
having
good.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
Getting cut off from your magic like that or having it suppressed in that way, can't imagine that feels great, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, add that to the list of bad, wrong sensations.
Yeah. Craigory's just going through it right now.
He is. This is the wrong body. His magic isn't flowing. The situation is terrible and terrifying.
He's barely in control of his own, like, actions at this point. So, you know, it's going great. Going great. And Thrall...
And considering he would have recognized where they are just because of remnants of Wizard Hut and new growth, he knows that it's been... If Henrick had been making top speed from Toontown to here, it's been, like, at least 8 hours. Minimum. Yeah, it's... So it is, in fact, daytime. It's like the sun is shining, the birds are singing. Craigory's having a terrible day.
Yep. I imagine it might even be a little later than that. Just, like, yeah, Craigory's having the worst day.
Yeah, it's getting closer into, like, evening, so... Yeah, it seems Henrick didn't make the best time they could have.
But it's fine. Henrick made the deadline. They got their they did their thing. They've done it. And now they're leaving.
Yep.
Thrall circles the knoll until they eventually seem to find what they're looking for. And there's just this little spark of magic, I guess, and an opening kind of appears. It's an illusion of some form, Craigory can kind of gather, but there's an entrance into the valley there.
And because he grew up in this general area, and yeah, he never found an entrance to the Uncanny Valley as a kid just poking around, so it makes sense it's hidden like this.
It's not just open, it's you know, there's illusions and probably other wards. It's one of those, like, you're gently pushed away, like, mentally unless you know it's there and are looking for it kind of deal.
Yep.
But there's no fanfare. They just start to walk in. They don't even say anything to him. They're just walking into the valley.
And, once again, Craigory hesitates on walking in, but that 5-foot, parameter from Thrall is pretty small.
Yep.
So only gets a second before he feels
and
the pressure, basically, of Gias, the psychic pressure start to crunch, and he's just like, nope, walks forward.
As if he didn't, Thrall would have shown him the other thing that they slapped on, or the other purpose of that collar, so,
You know what? He's not going very fast. He's, like, keeping at the absolute edge of the range.
Okay, well, Craigory, make a quick dex save for me.
Oh, boy. What is dex for you right now?
Oh,
18?
good. 18. Perfect. You don't fall flat on your face when something yanks you forward by your neck.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yep.
He just stumbles. Hands go up to the collar.
Yep. Actually, ooh. Does he grab it? Thrall had ordered him to not touch it.
Considering this is like a pretty instinctual action on this part, I feel like I have to roll something to see if he does or doesn't. What would you call that?
Ooh. Ooh, I honestly don't know. Because my immediate brain went reflex, and then I went, that doesn't work in 5e. That doesn't exist in 5e.
The closest we've got is, I guess, another Dex.
Yeah. A 21. Okay. And even if it wasn't, if it was something else, that's an 18, which I would say is pretty good.
Fingers stop just shy of grabbing at the collar.
Yup.
And he's just frozen in place.
Well, he can very clearly see the green line of magic connecting collar to Thrall's clenched fist. And they give him a look and then give a little tug and just say, "Come along now. I did warn you that I would not tolerate any more of your hesitation."
Really? Is this actually necessary?
From the way that you are behaving, yes, it is. I have very little patience for this kind of behavior, Mr. Danthew. And if you are going to be staying with me, which, and they kind of gesture, seems to be the case for the foreseeable future, then I expect you to behave and to follow orders when I give them.
Craigory visibly bristles at that. This is a very independent person. This is a very independent wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Just visibly does not like that at all, but after a moment just forces his hands down and at his sides.
Thrall just nods and keeps walking.
Does the leash dispel at all?
After a moment they release and it does. It just kind of fades away in a flicker of magic.
Right, well, next best thing he can do is basically just walk in pace, because if things go to hell, Thrall is the only one who can do anything about it.
Yup. But as they walk, Thrall does kind of give a, "I understand this is a very sudden and extreme change, and therefore I will be lenient with you for your first couple of days to adjust. But I do expect after that, well, I expect your behavior to change after that."
So you think this is going to last more than a few days?
Thrall looks at him. "Mr. Danthew, I have no intention of just letting you go. You were traded for knowledge. Therefore, you are mine. And I am free to do with you as I see fit, until such a time as I have no use for you. And as of right now, I can think of a great many things that I can use you for."
He doesn't even ask for a clarify on that. He's, again, Thrall can see him visibly running through all the myriad of possibilities Craigory can think of what the hell that means.
Mm-hmm.
Which are many and probably very exaggerated, and run from, the mundane things that Thrall probably honestly is thinking of to,
Yeah.
Very horrible.
Very, very bad. I was gonna say,
Thrall's just like, yeah, completely mundane stuff, and meanwhile Craigory's thinking like, oh dear god.
Thrall's over here just like, "Excellent, I will have finally a second set of hands to make light work," and Craigory's like, "Oh god, oh no."
Thrall's just like, secretary.
Yeah. I mean, not secretary, but yes. But yeah, they have offered that explanation, and they, after that point, lapse into silence. Craigory is still free to ask questions if he has them.
Again, I think he's mostly just thinking. He doesn't want to, like, go talking about friends or family or, heaven forbid, give names, but he's, as just expressed, like, you know, this can't last that long. Come on, that's not how Anquil works. That's not how stories work.
Does he say that?
You know what? Yeah. Along the lines of, this kind of thing just doesn't... You realize this just, it doesn't work, right? Narratively?
I am well aware of how the tropes work here in Inkwell, and I am aware that at some point the plot will focus on us. And I have planned for that. You have no need to worry.
Craigory's face clearly says, well, that's every need to worry.
I do not plan to be the final villain in this story, Mr. Danthew.
Somehow that's even more concerning.
To that end, you can rest assured that unless you disobey, I will not needlessly harm you.
Well, good. Yeah, alright.
I have no intention of being needlessly cruel. That is how you get eyes on you faster. And I am well aware that my kind do not last long once the plot has focused on you. And they sound quite frustrated with that. Like, their voice has been very blank this whole time, but, like, because there's been just this wall of nothing, that bit of inflection stands out.
Can Craiger roll insight?
Yeah, he can roll insight.
Wahoo. That 17.
Yeah, he clocks that.
Take it you've been foiled before?
Of a sort, yes. I grew careless, and I have lost a couple of important and vital items that I had been hoping to gain. And I don't plan to make that same mistake.
Well, Craigory doesn't quite have a response for that.
Yeah.
He would, in fact, like to be lost and retrieved, but his attention is also now being split between this and Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
Which...
So I think this is probably the bit where he's trailing off on any questions and is just trying to pay attention to his surroundings. He feels very vulnerable.
That's understandable and, quite frankly, very fair. Funny enough, as they travel through the valley, it's a very calm and quiet journey.
He's like jumping at shadows, but nothing actually happens.
Yeah, nothing really happens. Whatever is in the valley either A, knows to stay away from Thrall, or B, Thrall knows the way well enough that they just avoid any potential trouble. Probably a little of both. And So he gets to just kind of, like, observe the weirdness going on as they travel, but, like, they're not accosted by anything.
Well, he wouldn't. Not that
Mhm.
he's going to be truly relaxed for a good while, but he won't. He's not really going to drop guard until they're out.
That's understandable, honestly. Have a nice day. Uh, they Thrall does eventually come across upon, like, a specific section of wall in the valley. And again, much like they had done with the knoll earlier, there is a flicker of magic and a wall opens up into into another, like, side tunnel that clearly is angled upward.
And Craigory just audibly says, "Oh, thank God."
Thrall does not comment as they lead him up.
Yep, nope, he's falling close behind. Yeah, he would like to conclude this bit of the fuckery.
Yep, he wants this part of the journey to be out. He had hoped for a montage. He did not get a montage.
That's actually so funny. There was no montage yet to walk the full thing.
Yup. Yup, he just kind of had to deal with that. Sorry. And as they step out, yeah, it's a lot colder here than where you were, Craigory. Like, it's a lot colder.
Oof. Yeah, alright. Yeah, it shivers a little.
Mm-hmm. But, he steps out, and he's very clearly on a coast. And again, this is clearly Thrall is aware of tropes and is kind of leaning into some of them, because the area that what they are leading him to is a cliffside manor that is very clearly, like, fucking Overlook Hotel, or, like, the Biltmore Manor in terms of its, like, looming presence. And it's on a cliffside, waves are crashing underneath it. It's a very long drop that would, undoubtedly just you would not survive that drop. And they are leading him up to this place that is presumably theirs.
Boy, oh boy.
Like, all
He
it's
can't
missing
even
is
drag his feet. He doesn't dare drag his feet.
Yep. Like, all there's missing is a storm and, like, lightning striking behind it.
Kraken.
Yeah, exactly. But no, we're not there. That's somewhere else. Yeah, they're leading him up there. That is,
Sort of like a camera cutaway deal upon the front door being opened.
Yep. And
Stepping inside, and the door closes, and just an appropriately nervily huge bang.
Yup. And Thrall, almost mockingly, gives a little bow and just says, "Welcome to your new home, Mr. Danthew."
Are they, like, standing by the door just gesturing him inside like a welcome?
Yup.
God. Gives them a look like, are you serious? But steps inside on his own 2 feet.
And Thrall follows behind him, and the door shuts with a very decisive click behind them.
Boy.
Yup. Unless there's anything that Craigory would like to do.
I think that's it for Craigory. That's a very good way to end that. But
Yep.
as a sort of epilogue end card sort of thing. Henrick is already long gone between the actual grab and also, starting to move on once the deal had been made. But left behind at Craigory's place, there is a note that is in, it appears to be Craigory's handwriting, and it's just a quick, very short, really no details note left on Craigory's desk addressed to Pipsqueak, saying just, he'll be out for a bit, no worries, see you later. And that's that.
And that's that. And that's where we end it. Thanks for listening, everybody.
2 nickels down. Thank you, Hex.
Yep, thank you.